Good morning. I'm breaking routine a little bit. It is 7:20 in the morning, and I'm in a place this morning mentally, and all I can do is focus, keep my head down, and just keep moving on. Of all days, especially today, because this is the day that I go live with my new class. And I have 3 ladies who have been absolutely priceless to me during this time. 3 women who I can call on. And there's a place when you decide to switch, to transform your life, when you decide you don't want to be in the poor class anymore, when you wake up and you decide you want to be rich, and then you stop settling for poverty. There is a whole process, a whole mindset, when you realize that you get so mentally healthy that poverty is not an option. Poverty is an embarrassment. And then you realize that poverty is a mental illness. And then you realize, because you don't want any mental illness, that this is included. And the amazing thing is when you start to get your shit together and your life comes in together and your life titans start to be active and play a role in your life, things get a lot calmer because you have a manager, your conscious awareness, because you have people, your identity and intuition now participating, so that the subconscious mind can chill the fuck out. It's so simple. And I'm really curious to see how quickly others will integrate this perspective into their lifestyle and how quickly it will move for them. I'm really curious. But that's not where I am right now. Where I am right now is that transition period, days before things switch over from being so broke you don't know if you can eat to you will never have to think about money again. And I can feel it. But you don't just get it. You just don't walk into it and just change. And some people figure out a system. Some people use their mental illness specifically to get rich. I've seen that. I've been trying to figure that out for a while, and I finally did. Like, oh, their mental illness makes them do this with money. Most mental illnesses make you do this with money. And then there's people who are mentally put together. They've done the work and they want the money because their dream is to be a philanthropist. Now that's where I am. I want to be a billionaire because I have big philanthropy plans. And that was really the moment I realized, well, damn it, I can't do anything unless I'm wealthy. So I created the Healing Garden to generate the wealth so I wouldn't have to ask people for donations, because I didn't want to ask people for donations. That's never self-sustaining. I wanted a system that could self-sustain the philanthropy work I do. So I created the Healing Garden. This journey that I put myself on isn't one you can just start walking down and then change your mind. There isn't changing your mind. And no one gets that. It's not something you can just wake up one day and decide, you know what, that whole life pursuit thing, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. I'm just going to go back to the rat race and grab a day job. And there was this moment a few months ago where I hit the point of no return. It wasn't that long ago, but it hit me deep. I realized that I have to see this through to the end. And that means losing a lot. And it's funny because when you go through the way of the Buddha, you learn how to endure suffering and you learn how to endure loss. Isn't it ironic? Those are the two things that we are told that we should be afraid of more than anything. And they are, whenever we resist anything, that's actually the subconscious mind fighting those two truths, that we are either resisting our fear of loss or we are resisting our fear of suffering. And the way of the Buddha is a mindset where you step into a place where you accept it. You purposely downgrade and minimalize your life on purpose, sometimes to the point of food, because you want the suffering. And I didn't understand why. I just had heard the proverb many, many times in my studies that only a man who suffers can truly find happiness. And I was on a pursuit of happiness. So it made very logical sense for me to put myself through the way of the Buddha and endure suffering so I could get my happiness. I get it now. I get it now. And it is, I don't know if it's information I should just tell other people or if you have to kind of go through the process yourself to learn. But before I won't disclose that much about it because I haven't figured that out yet. But there's a lot of lessons I learned in that, a lot of lessons. And you don't do the way of the Buddha. That's not how I want to say it. When you decide to step into the way of the Buddha and embrace those two things in your life, you realize that you're really doing that because you want a lot more than just, you want to understand. You want to really know. So it's a pursuit of knowledge. It's a pursuit of awareness. It's a pursuit of perspective. You can choose which perspectives you want. You can. And that is something that we are not taught. There's a list of things we are not taught that would change everything if we were. And the belief that you can't change is very much this concept that we can't change, that we have no control. And I know where that comes from. That's our abusers. That is 1000% our abusers. People who got stuck in the rat race and had to proceed with the rat race, and they didn't like it, but they did it anyway. And now they're 80 years old and they see these young kids off doing their own thing. And the feeling that old man gets is, well, I couldn't. Why do they get that? That's the feeling. That's the word. And those people, that 80-year-old man, look at the younger generation and shames them for it because they didn't think that they could get out of the rat race. So they just kept with it. And then the next generation came up and did the same thing. They lived the rat race. They allowed other people to break them and fit them into the box so that by the time that person got to be 70 and 80 and they saw the younger youth coming up, they got jealous. Jealousy. That is literally what has kept us in the mindset for generations. Some old people just sitting there shaming you for leaving the rat race. How dare you? Good morning. And when it comes to realizing that you can change, you're going to have a lot of people telling you can't. You're going to have your father, you're going to have your mother, you're going to have your siblings, you're going to have people who downright physically abuse you because you are showing them that they had the power all along and they wasted their life, and you will be damned if you waste yours. That's the difference. Misery loves company. So when I stepped into the way of the Buddha, I was literally stepping into full misery because I wanted that perspective. I wanted to change. And I got there and I settled down and I lost it a lot. I lost so much. And it was like 3 years of just grieving. And then one day I went through a dissociation stage where, I very much went through a dissociation stage where I felt nothing. I couldn't lose anymore. I had already lost so much. It just rolled off of me. That is not the same thing as where I am now. And that's really important. That is not the same thing. Where I am now is looking at losing literally all of my possessions. And it makes me sad. And I went, okay, we have another adventure. All right, this is going to go this way or it's going to go that way. And it might have varying degrees in the middle. And it's really interesting to see just how much I'm going to walk away with at the end. And you know, when I started this journey, I said to myself, you are going to drown before you swim, before you fly. You are going to drown. It is going to be interesting to see just how far you drown before you fly. And that is where I have been going my whole life. That has been the one ongoing mantra in my head this whole time, is saying to myself, how much am I going to drown? And I have to accept the fact that I am going to have my head below water before this finally takes off. And I'm there. I am absolutely below water. I am, but it doesn't feel like drowning. It doesn't feel like drowning. I thought it would. That's the perspective shift. That's the change. That's the difference. This is the gold right there, is when you start a journey like this, when you're healing and you see your life as being terrible and horrible and everything happens to you and you have no choice and you have no control. You imagine yourself deciding to change it. And you imagine yourself drowning under the life you've chosen and the change before it takes off. And you imagine it feeling terrible. You imagine it feeling painful. You imagine you crying on the streets with all of your things. And then one day, you don't. You realize that you're too focused on going where you're going that you really don't care what you lose or who you lose. Because all that matters, and all that matters anymore, is that I finished this. And that's maybe the thing I needed to tell myself. All that matters is that I finished this. I'm not really talking to you right now. Oh, that's a secret. I'm actually talking to myself. I let you watch. Thank you. But really, whenever I do these videos, it's because I have to say certain things to myself. This is my internal dialogue of me having to communicate with my identity and my intuition. And it's the three of us, and we're all sitting here, and we've got this subconscious mind of ours under control now, and it's quiet and it's humming along. And that's when you really know. That's when you really step back and you go, oh, holy shit, the subconscious mind really was a machine the whole time. It really is a machine. It hums like one. There's no conscious awareness in the subconscious at all. It's just a thing. That was the biggest mind blow when I got to this point, was just realizing I say that it's an AI. I say it's a machine. It really is. It really is. And when you tame this rogue robot down, you can hear the human part of you, your intuition and your identity and your conscious awareness. And you three, the only one here with conscious awareness is you. She is very much a spirit. What you love, what you feel, what you want, what you desire, that's real. This is real. My God, is it real? Intuition is so very real. They both are. So are you. Your subconscious mind is a movie projector. A fucking movie projector that shows you whatever program it needs to show you to get you to duck and cover. And there are people who waste their lives, living their lives, completely catering obediently to the subconscious mind, to a fucking movie projector. And it's just, it literally is a matrix. You know, I talk about it a lot, and I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to run with that. I'm going to absolutely play that up. Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory. That's what I do here. Yeah, I got this whole idea. It is the matrix. Because when you shift perspectives and then you look back on all the movies that were written communicating this idea to us, it all fits beautifully. It's like a big puzzle. And then you just step back and you go, oh, holy shit. All those apocalypse movies where the robots take over the humans, that's the subconscious mind. I feel like, well, intuition did it. I 100% blame her. I manifested this when I was 5, and she turned around and put all the pieces in place. And I believe that she embedded the idea into the right people at the right time to make those movies so that I would see them, so I would make this conclusion today. That's what I believe. That's my matrix. And it's extraordinary. But I'm just sitting here looking at all of it going, you can't take anything with you. You really, really can't take anything with you. And it's just so extraordinary. And here I am having to figure out, I have 2 apartments. I have one in Brooklyn and I have one upstate. And the one upstate, literally in about 10 days, I'm abandoning it. I'm done. I'm taking my son. My son's moving here. His cat is moving with him. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So I contacted movies today, and I don't know if I'm going to have time. Que será? And they're just things. And that's really the hard part, is all that matters is the mission, the goal, the purpose. Getting this company up and running, getting people into it, getting people processing through it so that I can literally show them how to leave the matrix. And it's all just our perspective. And I wonder sometimes, do I just tell them, hey, you're in the matrix. If you want to get out of the matrix, this is how to do it. And it really, when you step away from it, when you go through the processing and you're on the other side and you look at it and you see just how perfectly it was machinated, that's the moment you go, oh, holy shit, I was literally just stuck in a goddamn system. And then you're out of the system. And you know, this is so funny. What I do every day, like I'll put in, I'm up at 7 a.m. I get my tea. I have my tea this morning, not my coffee. And I'm sitting here going, okay, do I want to go downstairs? I usually go downstairs. I usually sit and I take time for myself and I inhale. I do my own meditation and I just say thank you. I did not do that this morning, which is what I meant when I said I'm breaking routine. I wanted to talk instead. So I grabbed my tea and I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at what the next stage of life is. And I just don't know. I just don't know. And every day I do my routine and then I come up here and from around 8 o'clock to 11, I do my own thing and I pour everything I have into the healing garden. And then I have nothing to do. I have nothing to do. I have no job and I've done my work. And I'm going, wow, I only worked like 3 hours today. And this is the way it's supposed to be. And I'm just sitting here going, I can do whatever I want. Now, right now I'm tired. Not literally. Well, yes, in the afternoons I get literally tired. I am recovering from this 30-year-long journey. That's really what I'm doing. I'm recovering. So I do a lot of self-care while I adapt. I remember it was about 2 weeks ago. It was around the time that I created the Witch's Corner. And I basically woke up that morning and I realized that I was out of the matrix. It was the day I wrote the video, Farewell Rat Race. It was the day I realized, oh my God, I'm out of the matrix. It was that day. It was that day. Yeah. And I felt like a queen, a goddess returning home from a journey. I felt like Aragon in Lord of the Rings. And we don't see this part. But what do you think it felt like for him when he came home after wandering and being a rover for hundreds of years? And he comes home to Gondor. And when he gets to Gondor, is he invited and welcomed in with open arms? What would that look like? How would that feel for him? He's a humbled journeyer. And suddenly he has people, servants, a kingdom waiting on him. And that's what I went through that day. I bathed myself like a queen. Do it. Oh my God, it's a process. Do it. Ascension symptoms. Is that what that is? Thank you. I have something to Google. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. I'm winging it. You know, a lot of people have advised me, you really need to look into this. And I opened up a couple books and I closed them and I said, no. For some reason, intuition is adamant that I do not touch any education. This must be my own stuff from her, intuition and identity. I have to feel this and find the answers through just feeling it. I have to. I don't know why. That's her decision. But every time I try and learn about any of this stuff, I am shut down so hard. My intuition says, no, you cannot learn this. There's a reason why I kept that particular religion away from you when you decided to study every religion in the world. And she did. What a bitch. So when I was 15, I studied all religions, every one of them. About 3 weeks ago, I found a new religion. I asked somebody, what is going on with this ascension? What is all this? I had never heard any of it. And it was consistent. It was too consistent. So I knew one person wasn't making this crap up. It was way too consistent. And I had like 8 different psychics and very powerful people all giving me the same information. So I finally sat down and I said, what is this? And she was like, oh, well, this is the universe. No, 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 no. You got this from an ancient text. I studied ancient texts. I know what they look like. And I'm like, this is something. What is it? Oh, it's the Akashic records, I don't know. And it led me to this religion. And she started telling me about this 6,000-year-old religion. And I just glared at intuition. And she just says to me, you couldn't know. You can't know about this. And it's like when you deliberately go out of your way to study philosophy and theology and every religion that exists, and your intuition deliberately hides everything away from you so that you cannot find one particular religion, the religion with all the answers. No, that's what I call intent and purpose. So here I am. I discovered this and I went, I can't touch it. I wasn't supposed to touch it then, and I'm not supposed to touch it now. So I don't know anything about the energy. I don't know. The word light workers is what I'm hearing from other people, and it's fine. I don't know. I have to unite them, and I have to feel the answers. That's it. I don't need the books. I can just feel the answers. And I'm going, all right, I'm just listening to my intuition and it's all coming together. So yeah, I'm exhausted. And I know it's because I did this 30-year-long journey and it's finally over. And yeah, my eye is open, my crown is open, everything's just like, and I'm going, okay, I'm tired. I'm really tired, and that's okay. And I've just been sleeping when I need to sleep, eating when I'm hungry. And I've been exercising, taking vitamins. I've been making sure that my body is okay. And I know it's going to last maybe a few months, a few weeks, a few months. I don't know. I'm just following intuition. And I know I'm going to be okay. Oh, I know I'm going to be okay. That's that trust in her very much. I know it's going to be fine. And I'm not scared. There's no fear. Sometimes I'm worried and I'm concerned about how that affects my manifestation. Yeah, I take a lot of minerals and vitamins. Yeah. Thank you. And it's so funny because around this time, I've also done so many, not ayahuasca journeys, but I've done peyote. That was not for me. So I have to tell you about that. So there's this one journey I did. It was a peyote Native American healing that I went to. And I walked into this room I was with new friends, and I just was surrounded by, it was a different energy. It was a very different energy. It was the energy. It was still the energy pool, but it was like I found a different corner of it. So here's this is my theory, and I only mention this one other time in all of my stuff. So here's my theory. You have an energy pool, the energy pool. The energy pool is also called the energy field in physics. So it's this massive. It's everywhere, and it's a unit. It's a single thing, and it stretches the entire everything, everything, the whole galaxy, the universe, right down to the earth, and it's in everything. It's in us, and we're all connected. So this is the beautiful thing about this thing. People located over in India, you have people who can feel it and people who can't, and people who are in between. The people who can feel it are your faithful, religious people, empaths, hypersensitive people, Wiccans, pagans. They're the ones who notice it and they document it, they believe it, they follow it. It's beautiful. So this is where it all comes down to, is people in India felt it and they wrote about it and they developed a religion around it, about how they view the energy pool from their location on Earth. And their entire culture started to revolve around it. And then over here in the Native Americas, other people gave their perspective of what the energy pool looked and felt like. And they created their religions to depict, this is what the energy pool looks like over here. And in Norway, Scandinavia, they did it there. And in the Celts, in Ireland and Scotland, they did it there. And in Wales, they did it there. And in Africa, they did it all over the place. And in Australia, they did it there. And in Japan, they did it there. And in Rome, they did it there. And when we're all done, we all step back and we all have our own interpretation of this massive energy pool. And that's what religion is. That's what spirituality is. It is our own perspective of the energy pool, wherever we happen to be standing. And we're just, it's amazing when you really get to see how each religion interprets the same thing. And now over in CERN, scientists are literally pulling apart the energy field, going, oh, holy shit, it looks like faith is correct. and we're all going to the same place. We're all, and suddenly, and I loved when I realized this perspective. This is something else I realized about a month ago. I suddenly looked at everybody in the world and boom, everything shifted. I saw us all wearing backpacks. I saw us all on this spiritual journey, us climbing our own mountains, us going to our own sage women's. We're at Mimir's well and we're asking it for advice and we're ripping out body parts and giving it to Mimir to get information. And we're all hunting for the same thing. We've been doing this for thousands of years. We're looking for the answer. And that's when intuition, that's when she really kicked in. And I could see in one of my visions all the way to the beginning and how far we are. And that we come from the energy pool. We are born from the energy pool. When we die, we go back to the energy pool. This is my belief. And we want to go back to the energy pool. That is home. And when we're born, when we're conceived, and when we die, well, specifically when we're conceived and when we are born, that energy pool goes into us. We take a little bit of it with us. That's identity. That's intuition. We are literally carrying around pieces of the energy pool inside of us. And when you find somebody who's on your frequency, they come from the same part of the frequency. They come from the same part of the energy pool. That's why things vibe with you. That's why things don't feel right. That's why some things you come together and you're like, oh my God. And it just feels so good. And you feel like you found your soul sister suddenly. I have a lot of people like that because they're on the same frequency as you, because they have bits of that energy pool inside of them. And if you are tuned into your identity and your intuition, you can tune right into the energy pool and you're home. You don't ever have to worry about trying to get back to the energy pool. You can actually chill the fuck out, enjoy life here, and go about life the way you want because you know you got your energy pool with you right inside of you. But society amputates it, throws it away, and cuts it out. And that's the disconnect. That's where it really makes us all insane. That's why we look. That's why we hunt. That's why we pursue, because we need to get it back, because we have this massive pull. That's why several religions have this you die and you go to heaven concept. It's because when we die, our energy returns to the energy pool. I believe that the ultimate subconscious fail safe is when the subconscious mind decides to commit suicide. Full system failure, cannot protect the identity. You need to go back to the energy pool. So the subconscious mind motivates a person at the at the lowest point to commit suicide, because the subconscious mind knows that when you die, you're just going to go back to the energy pool and you're safe. It's like the subconscious mind says, I'm out. I cannot keep the identity safe here. She has to go back to the pool. And so it uses motivator emotions to destroy, literally, to kill yourself. And it's the energy just wanting to go back to the energy pool. Now, unfortunately, trauma and death can keep the energy pool stuck. And this is where ghosts come from, my belief, where when that transition happens, it gets lost, it gets stuck. It doesn't go back to the energy pool. It wanders around, or it haunts something. That's the energy pool. That's pieces of the energy that got lost. That's limbo. That's purgatory. That's the in-between between the individuality, which is what I call this. It's when we leave the energy pool as a person. We assume a physical body for this short period of time. We walk around doing life, taking on this adventure. I think we do this out of entertainment, by the way. I think this is our idea of amusement. I really think this. I believe this, that the energy pool is infinite and it's fun. And it's like, let's just sit down and be this energy pool and let's just absorb and observe. And then every now and then you've got your Doctor Who's who stand up and say, I want to go on an adventure. That's me. And the adventuring energies found a way to pass into this plane where we don our physical bodies and we're going, oh yeah, this is going to be fun. And you have to start and you have to just do this. It's a game we play. And then when it's over, you return to the energy pool and you're like, hey, look, I got more memories. Yeah, I really, really believe that this is the process. And we're looking for that answer. I am certain we are looking for that answer. I really do. Because when I figured all this out, there was this quiet, calm serenity that just intuition dropped all over me. It was like she dropped the mic and went, we're done here. And I just went, I see it. And that urge to learn about where we're going, what we're doing, why we're here, gone. Because I know. Now I just want to bring people with me because I want adventuring buddies. Like, that's it. That's really it. That's it. When you cross over and you realize that no one's qualified to even talk to you, because it's like, oh, you're so low down on your comprehension of life that to touch a regular person at this point, a muggle, would be like having sex with an animal. I can't do it, which is why I'm celibate. So I'm looking at it going, okay, so my social life went from all this to nothing. And I'm not lonely because I have identity and intuition, and we're set. So I'm not lonely, but I do want to share the adventure with somebody, with people. I have a lot of plans. I love hosting. I love partying. I love, I want to do clubs and I want to host my own clubs. I have plans. I have a lot of plans. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that. So I am, it's weird because it feels very finite. It's like you can feel this is the end of the journey, the end. I feel that. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings running through my head lately. I went through the whole I'm home, and I felt like a queen returning to her kingdom. And it's funny when I say, okay, Wednesdays and Sundays are my self-care day. What I'm really doing is pretending I'm a goddess and I have an entire staff behind me and they're pampering me because I have to encompass the queen and goddess mindset, because I forget that I'm in a material body. No, reverse that. I forget that I am more than my material body. And it's really important So important that I remember, do my nails? Hmm. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Thank you, girl. I usually do the spa. I love doing the spa. Oh my God, do I love doing the spa. I used to, okay, so I'm a BDSM mistress, and I would have law nails, and then I would paint them red. And then I love doing like glitter and things on them. And they would just look like talons, red talons. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. And when I had that all matched up with my black leathers, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually doing that now. I'm going to be doing like a BDSM workshop, and I'm going to be bringing the Devil's Dungeon in. I am so excited. Oh, Lizzie's. She could, yeah. Oh, you know what? All of my nail supplies are in the Bronx. I'll have to get those back. But yeah, 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 definitely. But yeah, I forget. Like, I get into this world, and I keep forgetting that this is just material, that I have a lot more inside of me. We all have a lot more inside of us. And it's like, oh, I really need to step back and make sure I remind myself that I belong in the ethereal plane, that that's home, that I am a goddess. And so I take these 2 days a week, and that's all I do is remember. It's so weird because that's it. So I'm going, okay, I'm definitely going through this resting period. I'm definitely going through the transition of, you just stepped out of the matrix. I'm gonna be doing this once I start having people actually come out of the matrix. When I put them through the healing garden, I'm gonna have a program where it's, okay, we're gonna get you over to the retreat. I'm gonna have retreats. I have plans, and it's just gonna be giving them a few months to adjust. It's not going to be them waking up with like things in their back, and there's pods and there's machines treating them in this really ugly, cold interior like they're, you know, pod babies. It's not going to be that at all. It's going to be a little more like me wearing a toga going, yes, we have a spa. I know it's really startling. You are expecting, Keanu Reeves and dystopian hell. Instead, you're going to get fantasy. So let's just step on over here, get you into the spot, and we will answer all of your questions. Welcome to Not the Matrix. Yeah, I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm working on it. I'm going to enjoy this though. But yes, it's going to be the whole welcome to Not the Matrix working title. But I really like that though. It's really catchy. Welcome to Not the Matrix. You were expecting science fiction? Well, you got fantasy. Just wait, we have dragons. I am convinced that when we get this manifestation down, we can become mermaids. That is my goal. That is really my goal. That is my goal. Because I manifested that shit when I was 2 and 5 and 10 and 12 and 15. I was the person who cried and sobbed and screamed because I wasn't a mermaid. So, oh yes, I am certain of it. And I'm going, you know what? If this is all just matter, and it is just matter, it is just matter. And if manifestation can change matter, and I know it can, then mermaids can exist. Mermaids can exist in shallow waters. Mermaids can exist. So yes, this is my dream, to become a mermaid. Yes, I have the power of transmutation. I am certain of it. So this is so for me, it's fantasy. It's not a science fiction dystopia. It is fantasy. I'm very, very excited. And we just have to outsmart the machines. The problem is all of these people are being run by their own rogue machines. Narcissists. Narcissists. That's a special kind of navigation. That's actually another problem that I'm working on, is how to take a narcissist and convert them over, because they lack two of the ingredients to do this. They lack humility, and they lack allowing no control. And by getting them from that point over to this point, I know they can be saved. I know they can be saved. I met this one man at my last actual patriarchy job. He and I were talking. I have this thing where people gravitate toward me and they tell me all their problems. And then they find out I'm a psychologist. And then they really tell me all their problems. And this one man opened right up to me, and I was talking to him, and I was on like day 3 with him when he slips out, "I've been diagnosed with narcissism." Now, I'm going to tell you about this. This is extraordinary. Internally, my mouth just dropped open and I went, "Oh my God, a narcissist?" I didn't do that though. I listened and went, "Okay." And he poured his heart out to me and explained he was crying at me in the middle of the office, saying to me, "I can't believe it. I have narcissism." And I don't even, I didn't even know it. I've lost my daughter. I've lost my wife. And I said to him, "She's not your wife anymore." And he burst out, and then he like cried. He broke down, cried. And then he thanked me very much. He needed to hear that. He's like, that's what I needed to hear. And he explained what it was like finding out that he was a narcissist. And I just took all of this information and I just listened and went, "Oh, they can be helped. They can be helped. There is a way to help a narcissist. They are just as broken as us. They are just as lost. They have a much more severe defense system. It's like you have your subconscious mind and it's gone rogue. Now, armor it up." That's narcissism. That's it. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. There's everyone with their mental illnesses, and you've got your rogue subconscious mind. But a narcissist, put Titan armor around their subconscious mind. That's the difference. And I know I can figure out how to get through that armor because I watched that narcissist man cry with pure regret. I gave him some of my steps. I gave him some of my programs. I watched him utilize it over the next few weeks. I had him come back to me and say, "Oh my God, it worked. My daughter is opening up to me." And yeah, it was extraordinary. So this whole, hurt people very much hurt people, but we're all hurt. And there's this real hate happening right now on narcissism. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is going to get us through this. We really, really need to practice forgiveness and gentle mercy. Forgiveness and gentle mercy. You know, I know I'm walking into the matriarchy here, and it's not quite the matriarchy. It's the balance. That's what it is. It's not the matriarchy that I want. It's a balance. And this is something I realized yesterday with my masculine, feminine. Oh my God, this was really, of all the stuff that I stumbled upon, I realized that the masculine and the feminine was actually it's fucked up. It's actually subliminal messaging from the Roman Empire gone bad. They embedded this concept into the entire program, and we misinterpreted it. Our subconscious mind actually misinterpreted what was meant by masculine and feminine. It was supposed to be a message to me that tells me, hey, the subconscious is the masculine and the 3 Norns are the feminine. And the real war is between the Norns and the subconscious mind. But it speaks in metaphor because I speak in metaphor and I love metaphor. So it deliberately took the masculine, the subconscious mind, and it partnered it up with the Norns, and there's a war going on in the subconscious, or in the entire mind, in the individual, man versus himself. And instead, our subconscious minds took that, made it literal, and then developed the gender wars. So the gender wars is an oops by the Roman Empire, where we're all kind of facing off and women are better, men are better, when it's actually a metaphor for we have both inside of us. We are supposed to be mostly, depending upon if you're a nurturer or a protector. And that's really it. It's not masculine, feminine, it's nurturer, protector. And you're supposed to have both inside of you. You have a nurturing side and a protector side. Now, I am a protector. Bottom line, I'm a protector. That is my energy. I can nurture, but it's not my place. I am a protector. My partner is 100% a nurturer. Oh my God. Hierogamic union. I will be looking into that. Thank you. He's very, very feminine. He is, well, see, and I don't want to use the words anymore. He's the nurturer. He's the comforter. He's very much that, oh my God, is he? And but he doesn't have any drop. He doesn't have any of that in him. He has no drop of projector. So I don't have I struggle nurturing myself. I really struggle. And that's, I think, part of my journey right now is learning to live without my twin, learning to live without him, and having to do the things for me that he normally would do for me. Learning that's where I am right now. So that's part of why the twin flame journey occurs the way it occurs, why there's distance and space, is because when you take your walkabout, you learn what you can do. And that's actually why I got onto this podcast today, was because I had this realization that the reason why we are given obstacles in life is because the universe is saying, all right, it's test time. What have you learned? Now I'm going to give you an obstacle. Show me what you've learned. I need to measure you right now to determine how far you've come and how much more you have to go. Because I have a prize for you right here. Have you earned it? Let's test you out. So the intuition sets this little obstacle up to confirm that my brain is where it needs to be to get the next level. This is why we have challenges. And I got the news yesterday that I have literally 10 days to get all of my stuff and my son and everything 3 hours away from upstate to here. And I have no resources to do that. That was my first thought. I have no resources. No, I don't have any money. Now let's talk about resources. See the difference? Perspective. And I went, okay. Well, there was no emotional response because my subconscious mind is in check. So it was intuition, identity, and I, the three of us, working out the problem without any interference from the stupid machine. It felt really nice, really nice. And we went, okay, this is the situation. This is the problem. What are our options? What do we have available to us? So I messaged a couple people. I went into the whole calm the son down, because my son he has a lot of work to do. So I calmed him down, and then I talked to my mom. My mom and I came up with a plan. I went back to my son, calmed him down some more, and gave him a couple assignments to keep him busy. That's always fun. And then I stepped back and I cried because I'm sad. And then I thought, wow, you are really handling this differently than you would have a year ago. You are really handling this differently than you would have a month ago. And I went, I have to focus. I can't drop the world. I can't drop the healing garden and go take care of my shit. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was a possibility. It's just stuff. I can replace it all. What can't you replace? My mermaids? Okay, I can replace my mermaids. So I bought these gorgeous stone statues of mermaids. I have like 6 mermaids all over my house. I told you, I love mermaids. So I have like these, they're like this big. They're like, about a foot tall, 18 inches tall. And then I have this one gorgeous plaque. It's like 3 feet of just mermaid. And it's all stone and plaster. Oh yeah, I love my mermaids. So my first thought is I must have my mermaids. And no, you're not going to have your mermaids. Okay, you can buy the mermaids again. I know. So what do you want if not the mermaids? I need my music. My music is all handwritten. It's my compositions that I composed. So I'm starting to really think about what I can lose, what I can gain, what I need, what I want. And that's why I wanted to get online and talk about this. Fear of loss. And I told a story on Facebook the other day about you climb Everest. You decide to climb Everest. You want to see the view. You want to know what the Buddha saw. And you're bleeding and you're starving and you're cut and you're cold and you're frostbite. And there are days where you're on fire and you're burning. And it takes you years to climb this mountain. And you finally get to this top. And there's an old woman. That's me. There's an old woman there in a cave. Now, you want to go right into the cave, settle down, warm up, and sleep. But the woman says, no, you are not allowed to enter here. You have to leave everything behind. You can enter anytime you want, but you have to leave everything behind. And I turn around and I look at my loyalty, not my things, not my possessions, my loyalty. my loyalty to my partner, my loyalty to my children. And I have to choose between them or that cave. And I made a vow, I made a promise, I made a commitment. So I sit my ass down and I say, nope, no cave for me. I'm going to sit here. So I continue suffering. I continue bleeding. I continue burning and exhausted. And I can feel my body just shriveling up, and I'm starving and I'm stubborn. So I'm just sitting here constantly, and this is getting worse, all because I have to be loyal. And there's this moment where I finally said, I can't do it anymore. I'm calling uncle. I'm not going to worry about my loyalty to them. I'm taking it back. I'm going to be loyal to me. And the wise woman says, okay, you may come in. And I walk into the cave, and I'm instantly healed. The pain, the bleeding, the cold, the frostbite, it's all gone. The hunger is gone. And I'm someone new. I am someone new. And I am someone I was not expecting to meet. And then I'm looking at myself and I'm going, whoa. At the end of the day, yeah, being loyal to identity and being loyal to intuition is all that matters. And it doesn't mean you don't love people. But when you are loyal to another individual, you take something away from yourself. And that's never okay. You want an individual who appreciates the value of the self and is loyal only to themselves. You know, and it's funny, our entire patriarchy has convinced us that this is selfish. Our entire patriarchy has convinced us, was designed to completely beat this theory into our head, that it's selfish if you don't. That's really what we're up against. That's really why this is so hard, is because they have brainwashed us over 2,000 years that not giving to the government, not giving to another person, not giving to the community, giving to the self is selfish. The word selfish shouldn't even exist. It is a made-up word designed by the patriarchy. I'm actually going to look up the etymology. I want to know when that word came into existence because I have a hunch. Etymology. This is not the right website I want. I'm looking this up. Where did it come from? There are some graphs that the internet gives you where you can actually see the timeline of a word. Swedish, Danish. Interesting. I was not expecting them to go there with that. It comes from the Swedish and the Danish självisk. Interesting. I was not expecting them to have it. Huh. Son of a fucking bitch. Are you ready for the year? 1825. According to Etymon line, the word selfless has been used since 1825. Let me look up the word. Why did they give me selfishness? I'm going to figure this out. Maybe this is another thing. But yeah, I want to know where it comes from. I want to know why. And I want to track this down. First known use of selfish. Wow. 1628. Right after the King James Bible was made. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That the word selfish came into existence. You need to read Voltaire. I have read Voltaire. And then I did research on that time period and the psychology of the 16th and 17th century mindset. There was nothing on a self-hate much. Their agenda for a loathing on the self in the 1600s was disgusting. It was like, if you think about yourself, we're going to crucify you. It was the worst of it was when we were at our worst. There's just no other way for it. It's why King James did the translations when he did. We're talking about 150 years after Shakespeare, 150 years after Miguel de Cervantes wrote Don Quixote. Like, that's where we're talking. We're talking about French aristocracy, Voltaire. We're talking about, the predecessor to the Victorian age. 16 fucking hundreds. That isn't, whenever anything that we use today comes out of the 1600s, my immediate response is, oh, well, this is garbage. I can just throw that out. So here's a little bit of information for you to chew on. I want you to really take this. If you struggle with guilt, what you are really struggling with is a third person party, usually your mother or your father or your religion, telling you that you are being selfish. That is what guilt really is. So next time you hear the word selfish or you feel guilt, remind yourself that that is a feeling that is coming from the 1600s aristocracy, and you have your full permission to throw it away. It really, really puts it in perspective. When you look at words, like I was really expecting that thing to be like 2,000 years old. Oh, it was coming. And I'm like, no, where did the word selfish come from? You pull it out and it's 1628. Oh, by the way, it was in the book, The Time Traveler. It was actually used by an author encompassing that psychology who put it in one of his books in 1628. Like the word muggle. You know how the word muggle just boom, 1999 happened, Harry Potter released, and the word muggle enters the scene. It was like that. Except muggle is awesome. Muggle has gone a long way to help us with the world communicating. Oh, you're a muggle. You know, it's great. I love it. I love muggles. I love having the word muggle. It really helps with a lot. So the word selfish was like the word muggle. Someone published a book in 1628. The printing press was new, very new at that time. And when that information went out, you can look at the word and immediately and that's the other thing, is the aristocracy. They would read. Oh, they would love to read. And then that's what they would talk about. That was their TV. Hey, did you catch that episode of? Instead, it was, did you read Voltaire's Candide? So yeah, so those words, and then they start using them and throwing them around because it's the in thing to do. There was no one more cliquey than the aristocracy. So yeah, get rid of the word selfish. I hereby declare that it is a garbage word that does not even exist until the aristocracy decided to throw it out there and be assholes with it. I'm really curious to see if it comes from, and it came from Sweden. So it's not even like French, and it's not English, it's Sweden. So now I really want to dig deeper into where exactly because 1628, that tells me there is a dude who thought this up. And now, watch, it's going to be Voltaire. It's going to be Voltaire himself who made up the word. That's probably what's waiting for me. This is the kind of shit that gets me excited. This is my happy place. Yeah, words and history. Oh yeah, I love being a nerd. Yes, remember to insert new healthy programs to replace each one. Yes, what I'm going to be doing, and this is really something I'm excited about, is I'm actually have plans to go through and write a list of everything that's patriarchy. And I'm dying to show you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Every time the patriarchy says, women can't do that, it's because women did, women can, and that's where women are most comfortable. That's where women excel at. So women can't have a job. I think women were the protectors. And women were the ones who were actually out doing things because it was the men who nurtured. Only women are allowed to play with dolls. Only women can take care of the household because the men were the ones who only took care of the household. And they did not want women to remember that they were the ones who were supposed to be taking care of the household. No, not supposed to be taking care of the household. Everyone can do whatever they want. It really depends on whether or not you're a protector or a nurturer. I don't believe we had genders. I don't. I believe we were either a nurturer or we were a protector. I believe that society did not like the dichotomy of a tiny little 4'11" warrior. I think that someone did not like that dichotomy. And that's when they started to get into genders of, well, you're 4'11" and you're a woman. You should be in the house because you're small and you can't be protected. Really? So I'm a walking dichotomy for their contradiction, and they don't like that. So they came up with rules to prevent the dichotomy. I really want to look into the psychology of why we are so averse to dichotomy, because that's really what the problem is here. People do not like dichotomy. They really don't. So yeah, it's very much this nurture protector. And as society went on, it was like this trying to fit everything into this precise location. And now that I'm out of the matrix, now that I'm over here and I'm living completely without answering to the patriarchy, I'm going, whoa, this is, what am I going to do with my life? Like I have an entire afternoon and I know I'm resting now, but there's going to get to a point where I'm going to be done resting and I'm going to go, all right, now what do I want to do? Because I've done my job. Now what can I do? And well, that was easy. Identity just goes, well, you define yourself by doing what you love. Well, thank you, identity. That is exactly what identity would say. And that's exactly what I'm probably going to do, because that's what we all should be doing. We all should, and it's funny because I think a lot back to Star Trek. I really think a lot back to Star Trek. And I went, son of a bitch. Like I see us getting to that point in Star Trek where you manifest everything. We don't have generators or we don't have replicators. What we have is manifestation. So we manifest whatever we need, and suddenly we don't have to work a 9 to 5. We can do whatever the fuck we want. I'm in New York City, honey. There's a pool everywhere. Yes, there's everything here. Everything is near me. Everything is near me. I've got the beach. I've got nightclubs. I've got everything. I did have what is it called? I did have a gym that I went to that had rock climbing and a pool and tennis courts. And it was all of the things, and a ballet studio and a yoga center. Yes, there's a pool near me. I don't know if there's actual public pools. I don't know. I think there are actual public pools, but I have the beach. I'm literally like 10 minutes from Coney Island. Yes, what I would really love to do is go swimming every morning. I really, really want to get to a point. And I did this last summer, where every summer I went down to the beach and I literally took my top off and it was just me and my lawn skirt. And I just ran along the beach and played with the sea. The sea is my sister. And then I would go out on the jetty and I would do yoga on the jetty. And I would do Tai Chi on the jetties. And I did that like for an entire month, every day. I really loved that time period of my life. I have this hesitation still in me. I can feel it. It's caution. Oh, that's what that is. I have caution. That's an emotion. That's an emotion that I am not used to. It's very much this hesitation. That's what it is. I needed to articulate this. You have a place on Brighton Beach, which means you're near to me. We need to connect. DM me. Oh, yes, DM me. So, see, now I'm excited. Now I'm really excited. So I love Brighton Beach. That's where I go when I go on the jetties and I'm topless. I love going to Brighton Beach. So, yeah, I live on Coney Island. I live like 10 minutes away from Coney Island. I am the end train away from Coney Island. So it's like this massive, I'm cautious. I'm scared. No, not scared. I'm cautious. It's weird because it's like a degree of fear. Tennessee? No, you need to be in New York. Okay, I will exercise patience and wait. But yeah, it's definitely caution. It's like I'm a frightened deer, and I've been abused all my life, and I've been in the patriarchy, so I can feel it. Yeah, I can feel it coming out, and I'm waiting for. I'm making sure that there's no more bombs dropping, and I think. I wonder if intuition is waiting for my cautious side to go away before she gives me the world. There's something she's waiting for. Yeah, I agree. And Yeah, it's definitely this it feels like something. And I feel like it's like the last it's the doorknob. I've got my hand on the doorknob and I'm just like wiggling the knob like I can get this open and she's over there and she's like, "Come on. It's a puzzle. Of course it's a puzzle." And there's like a sphinx sitting here giving me riddles. And I'm like, "Come on, one more test and I just got to figure out the riddles and then I can open that door." But I'm tired, intuition. Can't you just open the door? She goes, "Have I ever given you just anything? Have you ever gotten just anything from me?" No. So I got to figure out this riddle, which is why I blog so much, because I got to figure out this riddle. But it's definitely caution. It's not disbelief, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. You get to a point. This is my favorite thing. It gets to a point where you say so much positivity. You say so much belief that, and you believe it so deep down that on an off day, when you go back to your old habit, because it's a habit and it's muscle memory, and you say a negativity that you did repeat all the time, suddenly it doesn't feel right or good because intuition has been working to set the frequency here. And when you go back to that old statement, you are pushing against her frequency and it hurts. And you go, "Oh, wow, I remember when I used to say that all the time." Now, when I say it, and I said it this morning, I made a comment and it was very much negative. And as soon as I said it, it felt different than all the other times before I had said it. I had said it and I felt the frequency brush against me. I felt the friction and I went, "Whoa, that's not the frequency anymore. I have changed the frequency by changing the belief, manifestation." So I cannot and I will not be using those statements anymore because those statements now truly are false because the frequency has changed. It's really interesting. It's amazing. And I really want to explain the science behind it because this is really what fascinates me about it. It's intuition is here and identity is here. And identity communicates to me, I am the conduit. Let me make sure that's the right word. I am, yep, that's the right word. I am the conduit. The conscious awareness is the conduit between identity, dreams, goals, and manifestation and intuition. The conscious awareness is the conduit. This is really important that you understand this. So that identity gives me the emotion. She tells me, she places the order. I am the store restaurant clerk. And she gives me the order. She says to me, "I want to be a mermaid." And I go, "Okay, identity. Yes, we know. We know this about you all of our lives." And then I look over to intuition and I say, "She wants to be a mermaid." And then identity slaps me and says, "Not like that, with conviction. She wants to be a mermaid." And intuition says, "Right, I'm on it." So intuition goes off. She wants to be, and so do I. We both want to be mermaids. So that's how that works. You're a conduit. But if you're not consciously aware, you can't be the conduit. I have these people right now. I have one particular client. He has not done any of the mental work. I mean, he has not done any of the mental work, but he's dabbling in manifestation. Like it's his cure-all to his problems. And he's going on about, I see narcissism in him. I see control. I'm going to say it. He's a white male. He's got that very much white man attitude of, I'm going to control, I'm going to keep, I'm going to control and keep. And I've told him repeatedly, I'm not working with you because you haven't done the work, because you just don't get it. And he has way too much ego. And he argues. So he's got like all the qualities I refuse to work with. Like he's batting zero right now. But he still messages me And when he messages me, he tells me about where he is with his situation. And I'm going, dude, you don't get it. You are using spirituality to gain for yourself. You're being selfish. You can't use, and it's not, he doesn't understand that he's a conduit, that the situation that he's in is literally a mirror of his own making, and that he's expecting people to do things when he's the cause and he's the problem because he's the universe. We all are. So it's, I'm going to talk directly to you now. I've been on this journey without anybody. My partner loves me, cares about me, but his subconscious mind went, I don't want to see this, because it's not logical to his perspectives. He doesn't ask questions. He's kind. He's patient. But I don't have anybody. And I asked the universe for somebody to talk to about this. Like, that was my manifestation recently. Like, I just wish somebody would understand me. And about a day later, you found me. And you started commenting here. And now I'm going, oh, look at that. Thank you. Thank you. More, please. Like, just like that, somebody gets me. Somebody understands. And it's not a feeling of loneliness before. It's validation. I feel validated now. I feel a lot less crazy now. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I feel a lot less crazy. And I know that that's part of it. I know that the isolation and the loneliness is part of it, but it's easily been the hardest part of it, because you've got to trust yourself so well that when everybody else is telling you that you are absolutely nothing and no one, you still have to be solid with that, and you still have to believe it. That's really the test. Is, and this is what brings me back to the biblical story of Job. I have been trying to figure Job out for a long time. I remember reading it as a kid going, this doesn't make any sense. And now I know what it is. It took me 30 years. And it's so funny. I feel like as a joke to me, intuition said, oh, I'm going to show you, but you're not going to get Job until the very, very end. It's going to be the last lesson you learn is Job. And I'm like, what the fuck? So Job is the crucifixion. Job is literally Christ. It's a metaphor. Okay. Job, the moral of the story is you have to go through it's a path. There is a journey. The Pilgrim's Progress is the same journey. There is a person who desires heaven, who desires the ultimate knowledge, the reward. You have to go through severe suffering to get there. In the Christ story, he went through crucifixion and he got there. In the story of Job, he lost everything and he got there. Why did I not see this sooner? You go through severe suffering and then you get the reward at the end. In Pilgrim's Progress, he walks through the valley of the shadow of death and then he gets his reward at the end. That's the metaphor for if you want the reward at the end, which is freedom from the matrix, then you're going to have to go through all of the suffering. You're going to have to leave everything behind. The only thing I can't figure out is if Rome did this to us on purpose or if they did this to us to test us. That is the only thing I can't figure out. Did they did it as a method to say to us, all right, we're going to give you the ultimate reward, but you can't have it unless you've been tested. So we're going to do this thing to society and build a matrix to test you. I really don't know why Rome did it. And that's the one thing I can't figure out, is if they did it to start testing us If they did it because it is what's going to get us to the next level, and this was all a plot to elevate us to the next level, or like a pressure cooker. The Matrix is just a pressure cooker that put us all in the situation where they knew this is going to take about 2,000 years to cook. And once it's done cooking, it's going to explode. And when it does, then they'll level up. Oh, hello, midnight. So this is midnight. That was midnight. And then the next hypothesis is they just wanted control and they were vindictive narcissists. So I really can't tell. Yeah, really. I really can't tell if they did this because it's teaching us a lesson. See, now that comment, the rabbit hole gets much deeper. Get your big girl boots on. I have anxiety now. I'm going, oh shit. Do you know something about the text that I don't know? Probably, because I haven't done any of the research, which means there's like chapter 2. Did I just read chapter 1? Please don't tell me I just finished chapter 1. I don't want to have finished chapter 1. I want the book to be done. I want this to be like Nirvana. We all sit on the beach and have mimosa and we manifest whatever the fuck we want and we just enjoy life and define our identities. That is what I want. That's what I'm manifesting. No other book, no other challenges. I'm all done. I'm checking out. The only thing that I have to get through is the world waking up, the awakening. That's what I call it, the awakening. I'm very excited about this, the awakening. That's what I call it. And it's already started. It's absolutely already started, where there is more positive people, more light workers, more who are reading the frequency than who are not. The majority of people are reading the frequency. They're stupid about it. They don't know. Yeah, we're on the same page. We are talking about the same thing. I know what's coming. Yeah, I know what's coming. I saw it. That's why I'm here. That's absolutely why I'm here. And yeah, the next 10 years are going to be a hoot. The next 10 years are going to be like, okay, let's get our seatbelts on. Yeah, I'm preparing. So yes, it is. But there's going to be a lot of people. And it's not so much, it's not us. It's not the awakened. The awakened aren't going to be the problem. It's the people who aren't awakened, who look at us, go, this is a problem because we're losing control. It's the narcissists who won't wake up, who have power, who are in a position of control and power, who have access to media, who rallies up and declares that this is a problem. Those are the ones that is going to be the problem. The ones who, under no circumstances, because the ship is going down, and you're always going to have those stragglers who desperately try and keep that ship running. Those are the people that I'm yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah. Like I said, there's going to be a massive gap. It's going to be a massive education gap. It's going to be the awakened and those who just refuse to abandon ship. And when those who abandon ship, I know, yes, there's a reason why I took this. I've been doing this in journals. I have been writing all of this down in journals and in notebooks. I have been writing this down in my published books. I have been doing all of this for 30 years. I have boxes upstate just filled with my notes from this, where I started to put it all together. And then I started to use my Evernote and I started recording my visions. And then I realized that I needed to take it live. That's intuition. She said, okay, now it's time to take this live. That's right. Guess what? I'm a generator, honey. And I am a 6-2 on my human design. I am a 6-2. Yes, I have to lead by example. If I do not lead by example, that disrupts my frequency. So that actually was the massive amount of fuel for the healing garden. Paint my nails with Lizzie. Yes. All right. I will. I will get my supplies and I will do so. But yeah, yeah, I real and that's what the Witch's Corner is. When I created the Witch's Corner, it's because I realized that I needed to not keep it private anymore. I needed to take it public, but I couldn't throw this stuff on shifting perspectives. So I'm like, yeah, that's not going to go over well. So I decided to make the Witch's Corner, which is great because the name itself gets rid of people who would be like, yeah, yeah, I need to go swimming. All right. I am going to go ahead and meditate, do some self-care. Thank you for joining me this morning. And it was really, really wonderful to just chat with a girlfriend. Thank you. And just, yeah, it's really nice talking about this stuff without the visions going on. Because when the visions happen, I was walking with Lizzie yesterday, I think it was. I was walking down the street. We were just taking a walk. I had so much energy and I was so high. And I was very, very, I was in the middle of a vision. I had like 4 of them, just boom, boom, boom. And I'm walking and Lizzie asked me, she's like, are you having a vision right now? And I went, yeah, I'm in the middle of a vision. And I've learned to not get hysterical when they happen. I've learned to understand that when they first happened, I was hysterical. So now I'm like, okay, I know what this is. Well, and I was, when they first started happening, I saw some really horrible things in the future. So yeah, I was hysterical. Now I'm like, all right, I'm calm now. Everything's fine. I know what they are now. So I'm managing them. And she recognizes them now and she goes, what does it feel like? And I'm like, it feels like you're watching a movie that insists you watch it and you don't have a choice but to watch it. And it's right there. And it's right there. And all the images play. And it's just pictures. It's always just pictures. And the logic is so fast in my mind that I know what the pictures are. I know how they're related to this massive umbrella of information that I have. And I see how and when and where everything just lined up to those moments. I can see the dominoes. And they get so loud and so vivid that no matter where I am, it takes all of my energy and I can't not look at them. I can't not look at those pictures. So I'll be in the middle of a street. I'll be in the middle of a conversation with someone. And suddenly I have to look at those images. And sometimes they're very terrifying. And sometimes most of the time, they're just, whoa. But the terrifying ones, I usually turn right around to manifest it. I turn around to intuition and I tell her, okay, and I manifest something different. That we're going to do this peacefully, with gentle mercy and forgiveness. That's what we're going to do. That it's just education. That if we all become educated enough, that we can bypass the alternative. So that's it. And yeah, I come along and I tell my stories and I show the world what I see, and I am the first example. And here's the kicker. This is what I love most about me. This is the best part about my story. No one has suffered greater than I. Truly, no one has endured more bullshit trauma than I. I've checked. When people sit down and tell me their story, I listen, I do the therapy and the empathic thing, but in my mind, I'm going, they didn't even come close to a fraction of the shit I went through. And that's good, because if I can get this far from that shit, then you all can do it. You can do it. Absolutely. That's my belief. I am solid on this. That if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because I should be dead. I should be dead. I should be a heroin addict right now, and I should have more cuts and piercings and body mutilations than anybody. I should. In fact, when I first walked into therapy, my therapist looked at me dumbfounded and said, "You're not an alcoholic. You have no addictions. You've never done drugs." At the time, I hadn't. And I'm like, "No, nothing." "You're not a cutter." "No." And she just looked at me. She's like, you never did any body mutilation. Did you ever dye your hair? Did you ever? No. What I did was exercise, meditate, and take care of myself. That's how I got my fucking self through that shit. And a lot of dancing in the moonlight. A lot of dancing in the moonlight. Jerry! Jerry. Tell Jerry. It's the first time someone has given me my names back to me. That is different perspective. Yeah, Jerry, I got this. My Jerry is in the corner now obediently. Actually, he's sleeping. My Jerry sleeps now because I don't have a fear system turned on anymore. Now I have a defense system. The defense system is your communication center and your boundaries. So once you start using your boundaries verbally and through action, your defense system completely turns on. And when you start vocalizing your identity, that's your defense system. It's your communication and it's your boundaries. Your Jerry turns off. Your Jerry absolutely goes to sleep. So Jerry is now this little quiet boy sitting in the corner of my subconscious mind, and he never participates. Every now and then he wakes up, and then it's just, oh, Jerry's awake. And then I got to sit down with Jerry, and it's all right, Jerry, we got this. We got this, Jerry. You can go back to sleep. And yeah, I think one time he woke up, but my Jerry's now sleeping. That's where Jerry's supposed to be. So he's my sub now. I made him my bitch. Thank you. That's very clever. Yep, that's right. All right, I need to go take care of myself. I have been talking for an hour and a half. This is without a doubt the longest video, but yes, it was very much soul food for me. So thank you so much for sharing with me. Thank you so much for allowing me this space, and may the kindest of words always find you.